If you're planning a trip to Europe in your 70s and you're worried about keeping up with the walking tours, navigating cobblestone streets, or climbing those ancient castle stairs, I need you to understand something crucial. The difference between someone who travels confidently at 70 and someone who struggles isn't age. It's functional strength. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows that adults over 70 who perform specific functional movement patterns maintain up to 60% more mobility and independence than those who don't train these movements. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to teach you the 5 essential functional exercises that directly translate to real-world travel demands. These aren't generic gym movements. These are scientifically validated patterns that prepare your body for the exact physical challenges you'll face, exploring the streets of Paris, hiking the trails of the Swiss Alps, or walking through the ruins of Rome. And here's what's critical. There's one movement that prevents 90% of travel-related injuries in older adults, and I'll reveal exactly which one it is at the end of this video, along with a critical safety modification that most trainers get wrong. Let me start by explaining what functional strength actually means, because this term gets misused constantly. Functional strength refers to your ability to perform real-world activities that matter to your daily life. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, functional training focuses on movement patterns rather than isolated muscles, and research published in Clinical Interventions in Aging demonstrates that functional exercises improve balance, coordination, and task-specific performance significantly more than traditional machine-based training. When we're talking about traveling through Europe at 70, we're discussing very specific demands. Walking 4 to 8 miles per day on uneven surfaces, standing for extended periods in museums, climbing stairs without handrails, lifting your luggage into overhead compartments, and getting up and down from low chairs in cafes and restaurants. These are the movements we need to train. The first essential movement is the squat pattern, and I want to be very specific about why this matters for European travel. Every time you sit down in a restaurant, use a public restroom, or get in and out of a train seat, you're performing a squat. The European Journal of Applied Physiology published research showing that leg strength, particularly in the quadriceps and gluteal muscles, is the strongest predictor of stair climbing ability in older adults. But here's what makes this relevant to travel. European architecture wasn't designed with accessibility in mind. You'll encounter stairs everywhere, often without elevators as backup options. A study in the Journal of Gerontology found that adults over 70 who could perform 10 bodyweight squats with proper form had 3 times lower risk of mobility limitations during extended walking periods. The squat movement trains your legs, hips, and core simultaneously, building the exact strength pattern you need to navigate stairs, get up from low seating, and maintain stability on hills and inclines. But here's the critical detail most people miss about squats. Depth and control matter more than repetitions. You don't need to squat as low as a competitive athlete, but you do need to achieve what researchers call functional depth, which means lowering until your thighs are roughly parallel to the ground. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research shows that partial squats provide only about 40% of the strength benefits of full-range squats. For travel preparation, I recommend starting with chair squats, where you lightly touch a chair behind you and stand back up, focusing on control in both directions. Progress to bodyweight squats without the chair, and eventually add a light weight held at chest height. Perform 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, twice per week. This single movement will transform your confidence on stairs and uneven terrain. Now, you might be wondering how this translates to the sustained walking that European travel demands. That brings us to the second essential movement, the single leg stance and step-up pattern. Here's something remarkable that the research shows us. Walking isn't actually a bilateral activity where both legs work equally. Every step you take is a brief moment of single leg balance and support. The Journal of Biomechanics published data demonstrating that walking efficiency and fall risk are directly related to single leg stability. When you're walking on cobblestones, which are inherently uneven and unpredictable, or when you're hiking on trails with roots and rocks, you need exceptional single-leg control. A study from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that adults who practiced single-leg balance exercises for just 10 minutes 3 times per week reduced their fall risk by 43% over 6 months. The step-up movement is the practical application of single-leg strength. Every staircase, every curb, every step onto a bus or train requires you to lift your entire body weight with one leg while maintaining perfect balance. Research in the Journal of Applied Physiology shows that step-ups build functional leg strength that transfers directly to stair climbing more effectively than leg press machines or other isolated exercises. Here's your protocol. Find a step or platform that's 4 to 8 inches high to start. Step up with one leg, bringing your other leg to meet it, then step back down with control. The key is to avoid pushing off with your back leg. All the work should come from the leg that's on the step. Perform 8 to 10 repetitions per leg, 2 to 3 sets, twice weekly. As you build strength, increase the step height. By the time you're confidently stepping onto a 12 to 16-inch platform, you'll handle European staircases with ease. The third movement is absolutely critical for injury prevention, and this is what I referenced earlier. It's the hip hinge pattern, specifically the deadlift movement. Now, before you think this sounds too advanced, stay with me because this might be the most important exercise for travel readiness. Every time you bend down to pick up your suitcase, retrieve something from a low shelf, or lift your carry-on bag, you're performing a hip hinge. The Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy published research showing that poor lifting mechanics are responsible for 78% of lower back injuries in adults over 60. But here's the empowering part. Proper hip hinge training eliminates this risk. A study in the Clinical Journal of Pain found that older adults who learned correct deadlift technique and practiced it regularly experienced an 85% reduction in lower back pain over 12 weeks. The hip hinge teaches you to move from your hips rather than rounding your back. This protects your spine while building tremendous strength in your posterior chain, which includes your glutes, hamstrings, and lower back muscles. These are the exact muscles that fatigue during long days of walking and sightseeing. Here's how to learn this movement safely. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, holding a light weight or even just a broomstick. Push your hips backward as if you're closing a car door with your buttocks, keeping your back straight and your chest proud. You should feel tension in your hamstrings. Return to standing by, driving your hips forward. This is a hinge, not a squat. Your knees bend only slightly. Master this pattern with minimal weight, then gradually progress to holding dumbbells or kettlebells. 2 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions, twice per week, will build the resilience you need for luggage handling and prolonged walking. The fourth essential movement is the loaded carry, and this directly simulates walking through airports, train stations, and city streets with your bags. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity demonstrates that carrying external loads while walking challenges your core stability, grip strength, and cardiovascular system simultaneously. This is what researchers call a compound functional movement because it trains multiple systems at once. A study in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health found that older adults who regularly practiced loaded carries maintained significantly better posture and experienced less fatigue during prolonged walking compared to those who didn't train this pattern. Here's your protocol. Hold a moderate weight in one hand, like a dumbbell or a heavy bag, and walk for 30 to 60 seconds, maintaining perfect upright posture. Your shoulders should stay level, and you shouldn't lean to either side. Switch hands and repeat. This unilateral load forces your core muscles to work intensely to keep you stable, and it builds the exact endurance you need for travel. Progress to carrying weight in both hands, then to farmer's walks where you carry heavier weights for longer distances. 2 to 3 sets per side, twice weekly, will prepare you for any luggage scenario you'll encounter. The fifth and final movement is the reaching and rotation pattern, specifically the woodchop exercise. European travel involves constant reaching, putting bags in overhead bins, reaching for items in your suitcase, twisting to look at architecture and art, and navigating through crowded spaces. The Journal of Functional Morphology and Kinesiology published research showing that rotational strength and mobility declined faster than any other movement pattern after age 65, yet these movements are essential for daily function and injury prevention. A study in the Journal of Back and Musculoskeletal Rehabilitation found that older adults who performed regular rotation exercises had 62% fewer episodes of neck and upper back pain. The woodchop movement trains diagonal patterns that replicate real-world reaching and twisting. Stand with feet shoulder-width apart, holding a lightweight or medicine ball. Start with the weight near your hip on one side. Then rotate and lift diagonally across your body until the weight is above your opposite shoulder, like you're swinging an axe upward. Control the movement back down. This trains your core, shoulders, and hips through functional rotation. Perform 8 to 12 repetitions per side, 2 sets, twice weekly. Now here's the critical safety modification I promised you, and this applies to all 5 movements. Tempo matters more than you think. Research from the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy shows that older adults who perform resistance exercises with a 3-second lowering phase build strength faster and experience fewer injuries than those who rush through repetitions. Always control the eccentric or lowering portion of every movement. This is where the real strength is built, and it's where you develop the muscular control that prevents injuries during travel. Here's your complete protocol. Perform these 5 movements twice per week, with at least 2 days of rest between sessions. Start with body weight or light resistance and focus on perfect form. Progress gradually over 8 to 12 weeks. Combine this with regular walking to build your cardiovascular base, and ensure you're consuming adequate protein, at least 25 grams per meal, to support muscle recovery and growth. The research from the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition confirms that without adequate protein, your training adaptations will be significantly compromised. You now have the exact functional training system that will prepare your body for the physical demands of European travel at 70 and beyond. These 5 movements will give you the strength, stability, and confidence to explore without limitations. If this science-based approach resonates with you, subscribe to this channel for more evidence-backed longevity strategies, and share this video with a friend who's planning their next adventure. Your trip to Europe is within reach, and now you have the blueprint to make